Well, we have
This should add a bunch of soil. Add a bunch of dirt, good soil.
He's been doing it for 5.
Oh, that's good.
They died. We have some in the ground and we have some in pots, and this year we're not having.
Would you look at some of those have real
I got it built in a pot, it's about this height. It's flowers and they fall.
Yeah, that's a habit. We like to help them, so we would just try. Hey, wait a minute. I'll give you my address.
Tell her I live there.
Yeah. 37. Yeah, so you do. Nothing like a homegrown vegetable. I know.
I've got an eggplant that's growing, it's got eggplants about this big, and then it stops growing. But you can think we'll do this right here. Yeah, I will. Because I think it Oh, I just say that we have this storm over from.
But, and dill. You had dill seeds. Oh, I had dill.
Oh,
Sounds good. You know, we had a lot of basil. Basil grows beautifully. And then,
rebuilding it, and then he's got it in shape.
we got basil and we got the deer will kill the dog with the deer. Claw their back and rush her to the bed. She was going around and she gone and this goat came out and sliced her back.
That might have been the one that was in my yard this morning. She went after another deer. They sleep in their yard, Jackie.
I have a big one.
But they still sleeping in the yard over there by the corner of the house. Over there in the shade. That's because our house is too dark. I have the same problem. I have to take it outside to the light where I can see. Is that? Or what color I'm wearing.
Find out if the state ever did give us.
I think this thing lately is involved in the next dissertation. Right now,
Last month.
you're involved in all that, right? And it's hinted about the
I saw Lady Jordan asking
I saw
Lady Jordan
my internet will go out 4 or 5 times a day for half an hour and I called them on it.
I think we have met a number of times. We have good to see you again. You're doing well.
I've only had it for a week. I've had no problems with it.
Street fox, I'm here, yes,
They said it goes out too.
yes, we can. I'm only been here 13 months.
We stayed on the road.
Norfolk, that bad wiring somewhere. And it's not just me, it's other people. And even with the phone.
We're loving our user.
It's 9 o'clock somewhere, so let's sit down and have a meeting. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, ma'am, we have quorum.
I notice we have Ann back, and it's very nice to have her. Okay. Shall we stand for a moment of silence? Once again, I didn't do my homework here. Thank you. And the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
What? I'm good. Just a minute, I'll tell you. Because I need to make a little statement.
I'd make a motion that the minutes for the meeting of June 17th is submitted to the board be approved.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Is there a secretary's report?
Yes, a couple of things.
Okay.
First of all, we received the board of directors received a letter from the architectural committee informing us that they're going to begin assessing, excuse me, a $25 fine for folks that start work projects without a permit. They need to get the permit first. And I would request that our administration staff maybe put the notice of that in the HQ dispatch so that we can try to get the word out to everyone that they need to get a permit or they're going to receive a fine from the committee for $25. Additionally, the board of directors received a registered letter from a member requesting a hearing. That hearing has been granted as a courtesy and is scheduled to take place in the executive session at next month's meeting in August, I believe, the 19th. So that concludes the secretary's report.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have a treasurer's report?
Good morning. Okay, the bank balances as of Wednesday, July 12, 2017. These balances are taken directly from our online account website. Del Rio Bank
Texas Community Credit Card, $9,622.66. Texas Community Checking, $61,206.83. Texas Community Money Market, $2,563.89. Brackettville Bank and Trust, General Fund, $94,838.70. Payroll, $8,482.19. Restricted Fund, $426,057.87. Las Morris, $26,751.90 for a subtotal $629,524.04. Fort Clark Historical Building Preservation Fund, $18,645.53. Fort Clark Hail Damage Repair Fund, $72,734.71 for a grand total of $720,904.28. Also, we were pleased to receive from our workers' compensation carrier for our safety and loyalty dividend, which tells us that our safety programs are working. Our dividend this year was $4,685.57, and that will go into our account. Okay, bank transfers. June 2017 estimated. Bank and Trust Las Morris, $0 for operating expense. Texas Community Checking, $80,000 operating expense. Bank and Trust Payroll, $68,000. And Bank and Trust Restricted, $0 for operating expense, for an estimated total of $148,000. June 2017 actual. Bank and Trust Las Morris, $0 operating expense. Texas Community Checking, $57,420.59 for operating expense. Bank and Trust Payroll, $61,500 for a total of $138,985.11. July 2016 actual. Bank and Trust Las Morris, $0 operating expense. Texas Community Checking, $86,640 operating expense. Bank and Trust Payroll, $67,000. Bank and Trust Restricted, $0. Total of $153,640. July 2017 estimated. Bank and Trust Las Morris, $0 operating expense. Texas Community Checking, $85,000 operating expense. Bank and Trust Payroll, $68,000. Bank and Trust Restricted, $0, for an estimated July 2017 of $153,000. I move that the treasurer's report and transfer of funds be approved.
Second.
Let's make that just the transfer of funds, please.
Then I will move
I
just
know
the
that's what you meant.
transfer of funds be approved.
All right. And we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Executive Officers Report.
Yes, ma'am, good morning. I want to address, first of all, the financials that have been provided by our CPA, and we received these, I think, late Wednesday. And I call your attention to the balance sheet of May, as of May 31, 2017. Down at the bottom of the page, you'll notice that there is an item that says overdrawn bank accounts, and that indicates $26,707. That threw us into a bit of a panic, and we began researching to see what had happened and how it might be resolved. Monique dove in and discovered that in November of last year, the payables for that month in the amount of $26,707, the payables were not covered by a transfer. A transfer was not completed at that time. So it's been carried for that long. But the good news also is that through her research, she discovered that there was a second event as well where a transfer was not completed in order to cover the payables. That occurred in March. Luckily, we were able to catch that. The CPA had not yet caught it either. We made the transfers, and so now we should be on an even keel. We have also addressed the policies governing the transfers of funds and put some new steps in place that should prevent that from occurring a second time. I call your attention also to the profit and loss statement. For the 8 months of October through May, we're showing a loss of $77,358. However, the net income adjusted for the non-cash items is a positive $130,225. Los Morris, the lounge, you'll see for the...
Can I interrupt a second? I want to be sure that that was heard, that we have,
The adjusted for the non-cash items, meaning when you factor the depreciation and the bad debt expenses, it actually shows a positive $130,000.
so that we are not 77,000 to the red, we are actually 100 and
With that
some
adjustment.
thousand to the good, so please understand that.
The lounge has finally started turning a bit of a profit for the 5 months that it's been in operation, January through May. It's showing a profit of $2,859. So, all in all, not a bad circumstance. I'd now like to talk to you a little bit about family funding. This has been a very, very busy summer for us and for the staff and for all involved. The Family Fun Day, which occurred back on July the 1st, the staff really dove in and did a marvelous job. On that day, we had 430 members come to enjoy the Family Fun Day. 439 members came to enjoy the Family Fun Day, and they brought their guests with them. We had 171 guests and visitors who also participated. One little note I'd like to make, which is kind of good news, is that at what we call the tag shack, the entry point for the swim park, we had a number of members who caught up on their assessments. Actually, we collected some $543 in back due assessments through the tag shack. So that was a fortunate thing. We actually had to keep someone a few extra hours at the desk in order to take those payments. On the Family Fun Day, we generated some income in the amount of $1,291. That was through swim park admission fees and the duck inn rental and the arts and craft and food vendors and the bouncy castle water slide, all of which totaled $1,291. Our expenses related to the Family Fun Day was $360. So we actually made $931 on that day. It's always good to have a lot of fun and make money at the same time. Then from that Family Fun Day sort of morphed into the Independence Day celebration on July the 1st. Prior to that time, the staff went into motion and gathered together some donations. And for the fireworks, there was some $2,750 collected in donations, which was more than we've ever had for fireworks. There was also donations of $200 for the veterans' lunches and for the children's coin toss, another $200. The veterans' lunch donations was made by the Los Morris Masonic Lodge number 444, and also the Sunshine Storage Company. The children's coin toss, the Texas Bank and Trust donated 100, and Dennis Dodson donated 100 for it, and that was a marvelous thing. The money was a fistful of $50 was tossed into the swimming pool, and the kids scrambled to get them, and they did that for each little age group until some $200 was picked up off the bottom of the pool. I want to comment also on the firework donations. The Rio Grande electorate was very generous, as was the Keenan County Chamber of Commerce, the SW Southwest Auto Supply, D&D Hardware, Wool and Mohair. Judge Tully Shahan was very generous to us. The First Baptist Church, Ivan Alston Jr., Maria Castle was very generous to us as well. Greta Davis, Kurt and Mary Partlow, Charles Fish, Billy Herman, and Sandy Herman were very kind to contribute. In the past, we've had several community leaders who have carried the ball for the 4th of July celebration, the Independence Day celebration, not the least of which was Randy Castillo and Martha Padron. They could not continue the leadership role, but that doesn't mean that they weren't involved. Martha collected several $100s in donations, but she was very, very instrumental. And Randy Castillo, who said that he just could not participate with the fireworks, he helped us to purchase the fireworks, and then he couldn't let it go. He had to be out there too. He was I think, a bit of a supervisor out there and participating as well. So I want to thank both of them for continuing to participate in this activity. So the donations we received was $3,150. The expenses we spent $2,500 on fireworks. We spent another $119 on veteran lunches, and the coin toss, of course, $200. So we had a net income of $331. And what we're going to do then is take the 250 firework donations and put them aside for next year, as well as an additional $81 for the veteran lunches. We'll put that aside for the next year, and we'll build on top of it. And we're hoping that each year will continue to grow and to be bigger and better each time we do. I'm hoping also that more folks will step up and help us to do this, because the more the merrier. Many hands make for light work, and it would be wonderful if folks would come and join us in that activity. So that's about all I have to report at this moment anyway. I think I have to address the RV park later in the meeting.
Yes, you do. Any questions for?
Oh, yeah, I have one. Probably more, but I'll just probably lay one out right now. Last month, we had a discussion and approved disc golf course expenditure of $2,000 when it was an attempt to table it for a month so we could research it a little bit more. We were pressed to get it done right then because we wanted it up and running by the 4th of July celebration. I don't notice it out there yet. Is there any update on what's going on with it?
I don't think, that's not the way I understood it.
That's the way I understood it.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, where are we with that?
You may recall that we wanted to also collect some additional donations, and so we're in that process before we make the expenditure.
Okay.
Donations are not coming real fast, but if you'd like to help, I'd be happy to.
I'll pass on that one, Richard. Okay, thank you. That explains it.
I keep wondering if I'm doing my job here. The committee reports, we start with the airport. Notice that we're going to work on the appointment of committee members below. Can you stay that long?
I will.
Okay. Then the airport committee.
Hi, good morning. Today we're here to talk about the airport. There's 7 airplanes that are signed to the airport, and there's 6 pilots, and one of them is me. And my mom has more to talk about, so I'm going to give the microphone to Mama. And have a great, thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Catherine. So Catherine is our honorary pilot, so she loves being able to come up and speak. Well, we missed last month's meeting, and we were basking in Hawaii, so it's nice to be back, but we wish Hawaii was still with us. Like Catherine said, we have 7 aircraft assigned to our airfield and 6 pilots. She is number 7. She's not number 6. And we have 5 RC airplanes that operate out of there as well. For the 4th of July celebration, we also conducted a flyover, which we wound up doing twice to make sure everybody knew we were out there. So that was fun. It was nice to be
And I
part
meant to
of.
mention that I'm sorry. Your answer, thank you for doing that. That added a lot to the celebration.
We were very excited to participate in that. We want to thank maintenance. I don't see anyone from maintenance here, but they've spent the past few days mowing the overgrown areas of the airfield, and we're very grateful for that as well. Completed projects for us. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've been in discussion with the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. It's a national organization that promotes and encourages the general aviation aspect of flying. And what I contacted them for was I wanted to provide justification and some explanation for what our airport actually is. I know there have been questions of whether our airport is a real airport by FAA standards, and I do have a letter that I'm going to provide to the board. But what I wanted to do is just highlight one paragraph of the really nice letter that I received from the regional manager. And the one paragraph that I want to highlight is that Fort Clark Springs Airport has long been properly registered and charted on aeronautical maps as an airport with the FAA. The proper FAA form has been on a regular basis updated with the FAA as required, and thus Fort Clark Springs Airport is very much a real airport. So I'm hoping that this will put to rest the question of the validity of the existence of the airport. And I'm gonna provide this as well.
I don't know where you get that.
I've been the subject of a few comments that because we don't have a control tower, we're not an airport.
We don't have everything an airport should have. We can call ourselves an airport, and that's fine, but we do not have everything an airport should have. Let's leave it at that, okay?
Yeah, and that's that's part of our plan that I'm about to address as well. And so after my conversation with the regional manager, I told him what our plans were, short-term and long-term. And there are 3 things that I did put in our report last month that I'm just going to echo once more that are our goals. And these are steps that we can take as an airport to use our airport as a recruiting tool for new memberships, both recreational and residential memberships, as well as being a catalyst to have people come attend events such as the Family Fun Days, or come to golf, or to use any other amenity on the fort. The first is the open house that we have been talking about for a while, and that event is geared towards members, so that members can understand what our airport is, how our airport operates, and get to actually see and interact with the aircraft and the pilots. Catherine would be there as well. The date that we'd like to do that is November the 4th. And the second is beginning to host a fly-in, an annual fly-in that would probably start really small, but that is geared towards pilots. And I've got a pretty solid online reputation for our airport already established. And with the fly-in, what we'd be doing is we'd be inviting pilots from everywhere in the United States who would be interested in flying out here, and we'd be using such events as the Fort Clark Family Fun Day or any other event.
How many could you host?
Our airfield is capable of hosting 50 to 100 aircraft, right, Sam? Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah, we have a large
Yeah.
parking area, we have a large, developed.
I saw you hiding back there.
Oh yeah, and we got Brent out here too. Brent is also part of our airport community as well. But we do have the capability to host quite a few aircraft, and with organizations like the Aircraft Operator Owner and Pilot Association, that is a catalyst for us to use to be able to do a fly-in correctly and to be able to publicize that so that we can have further reach to potential members, and we're very excited about that. The date we wanted to host the fly-in is December the 9th. And then the third step to what we like to do long-term is to create, in concert with the executive director, the board of directors, and the architecture committee, an airport growth and sustainment plan. Because once we have people flying in and excited to use the fort as a place to live or to have just a place to park their plane, we want to encourage them to invest and to purchase or to get into a lease agreement with the fort to build a hangar, so then they now become a resident. And so the airport growth and sustainment plan will be how we are able to offer those options for them, because it would be written out and it would be something everyone is in agreement with to do that. So that one is a very long-term goal that's going to take a long time. So what we as an airport committee, acting airport committee members, would like is to get board approval to proceed with our open house date, November the 4th, and to proceed with conducting our first fly-in on December 9th, and then to begin the phases necessary to start talking about this airport growth and sustainment plan. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
If you want an action item like that, you need to ask us to vote on it.
Okay.
Right now, it seems to me that the board has no objection, does anybody, for you to do this in the future. But if you want us to do approval of those things as a board, then you have to give those to us in our action items.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought this was part of your report.
Well, it was actually last month's report, and I don't know how it was missed, but I'm just repeating it. So does it need to be something the board approves, or are we able to just proceed with our plans to host those two events?
I would make sure that the dates that you have are not getting in the way of anybody else's, or that you can somehow join them with other things. But
We have deconflicted the dates.
if you want
already.
us to approve some section of that, by all means, give it to us as an agenda item that you want. The problem last month was, if you read the minutes, your report was there. We did make it very clear what you were talking about, and even gave the dates. So it isn't that you were missed, it's that we had questions and no one was here to respond.
Okay,
So,
well, I'm happy to answer any questions you have now.
Right now, this was a report from the airport committee. We have the questions probably down here for the appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
So then my question again would be, do I need approval to proceed with the two dates that we'd like to do, or is that something that we just go and press forward?
I thought I responded. For the dates, you need to work with Richard and see that you're not interfering, or that you can somehow coordinate with anybody else that has something on those dates.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
We
that.
end up, especially in the early part of December, getting so many things that there's no place to do everything. And maybe the airport committee can interact with those things, but it has to be at some coordinated point, and the board isn't the coordinated point for doing that.
So then, just to clarify, as long as I've deconflicted the dates with the front office, the board of directors does not have to vote that we can do these two events. I just need that clarification so that I can just go via fire direct to Mr. Lawrence.
the front office, if you're talking about Mr. Lawrence,
Yes, ma'am.
I thought I was clear.
You weren't. You were clear about deconflicting the dates, but you're not clear on whether I need to have the permission from the board to proceed.
I'm very
with those
clear on
dates.
that. You do not.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other questions from anyone else?
I have
So
one.
December 9 and
Number 4.
Mr. Sullivan has a question.
Great.
Yeah, just as a matter of information, I observed yesterday afternoon a very large tractor pulling an implement behind it with in a huge cloud of dust. And I'm wondering, was that the gang mower was pulling behind mowing, and is that equipment belong to the association? Is it from the gang mower from usually used on the golf course, or is it something the airport has?
It's actually the forts. That was Phillips' crew out there working on the airfield.
Okay, and was that a gang mower? There's so much dust you couldn't tell.
It's a big tractor with a
I
bat
believe
wing.
it was the Batwing.
Yes, that's what it was.
I believe it was the Batwing.
It's a shredder.
Shredder?
It was a tractor pulling a shredder.
Thank you, Sam.
And that's owned by the fort. That's
If you
not
want to
ours.
know anything, ask Sam.
Oh yeah. Sam was out there directing that as well.
Yes, I'm a brain trust in the region.
Yes.
That's why you have so little hair.
If I'm the brain trust, we're in big trouble.
I didn't want to say that, but thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Maria,
Yes, ma'am.
please understand that the board is behind the airport committee. In fact, I was one of the first people to push this. So no one is against you. If we have questions and you're not here, or someone from the airport isn't here, we can't get them answered. We'll get them answered today, because clearly there were plenty of you here, and I thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am. And we are very grateful for the support, but at the same time, I don't like to assume anything, so I want to make sure I understand completely if I have
I
to do
would
anything.
suggest that the best place to go is to Mr. Lawrence. He will tell you if it's something needs to come to the board. All right?
Great. Thank you
And
very
we will
much.
obviously see you. Don't go away, Jan has a question.
Oh, great.
I don't know if it's a conflict or not, but Hunter's Roundup is November 4th.
It actually winds up being great for us. But yes, ma'am, we know. Thank you.
So you're trying to interact with that?
Well, it's not just me. The airport committee, we did not just decide, ooh, this date looks great.
No.
We looked at historical data of
Please don't do that.
Oh, yeah, I know. My kids do that with toys. But we looked at when historical events would be happening, and hunting is a lucrative item for a pilot. When my husband and I lived in Alaska, we flew our Cessna out into the middle of nowhere, and we did that just to hunt. So we do know that is a lucrative time for hosting an event. So
That's
yes, ma'am.
what she was trying to.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't need to go on. We're not attacking you.
Oh, I don't feel attacked at all.
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, no.
Could you sit down now, please?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. I apologize if I was a little overzealous is what I had over here. Do they have the architectural committee? You get to do it from now on. Huh?
Good morning, everybody. Nothing exciting. We're approving permits. The difficulty that we have with a lot of applicants applying for permits is they don't know that we need to have a list of their materials. We need to know what they're going to use for their repairs. And if somehow the girls could let them know when they go in for their form, their application, because it's not on the application. That's just something that either the contractor or that individual applying needs to supply.
I thought it was on there because when I did mine, it was on there.
No, it's not, is it, Bill?
Yeah, well, the problem is there was 2 applications that
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
and some people got the wrong one.
Yeah,
Oh,
because one
And
form,
therefore, when one of them was basically like hail damage.
right, yeah,
Repair, you
Yeah.
just gotta turn in a permit that you are doing the work, because you're repairing in like kind. So that was just a real short, quick.
mhm,
And then the regular permit for new construction or changes, whatever, you know, the architect committee needs to see a plot plan.
let's not go
Material
there.
list.
That is clear on the.
Yeah, and that stuff
Yeah.
is on, but people are not turning them in, that's the problem.
right, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And,
The one that you're describing that doesn't have it was put together quickly because there were so many people with hail damage. I remember doing one like that myself.
some of our violations, against the CCNRs, we're beginning to get a little bit of response, and they're complying, some of them. And anything that we're not real sure about, we send it forward and go from there. Let the board make a decision, because some things we're not real sure we have the authority to, do.
Until you feel comfortable with the new declaration, I think, with the revised declaration.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
yeah,
how we put the architectural committee in there,
yeah.
then I think you do need to, the board will send it back to you if we don't think
Right.
it belongs there.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Sounds good.
And I'm glad to see that we are assessing fines to those that do the work and then apply for the permit. That just, people need to realize they can't just do what they want.
Probably should be a bigger fine.
Probably, yeah, but.
Okay, for now
Yeah,
though, it's
that's it.
$25, all right?
Yeah, great,
Yeah.
thank you all.
Thank you. Do we have anything from the Finance Advisory Committee?
No, we won't have a formal report from them till we meet in October. We're working on the survey, and as soon as we get it in some sort of a preliminary format, I'll be sending the board members a copy to show you what we're doing.
Great. I saw Debbie back there, Golf Committee. I'm going to ask you to come up. I watched the board meeting last, and it doesn't really show that you're all talking.
Okay, Debbie Isaacs, and I'm with the golf committee. I do have my reports, but I grabbed the wrong folder coming out this morning. I do know for a fact that for a June, this is the best June we've had in the last 3 years. Our numbers were up, our guest players are up. We were 49 players less than we had last month, but we still had some Winter Texans here last month. So all in all, our figures were definitely up for the last 3 years. This was the best June we've had. Not only in amount of players, but best guest players, and that's what brings in the daily money, is those guest players. So I thought that was a great thing to bring to the attention of the fort. We did not have a golf committee meeting. I had other obligations this week, so we did not have a committee meeting. 1 or 2 people couldn't be there, so I just canceled the meeting. A couple of things that we are noticing are our fairways are getting very dry, and we would really like for some type of a communication to go out that people please use the 90-degree rule. As the grass dries and more people on it, it just breaks it off and kills it. What little we do have. It looks like they're keeping the greens very watered, which is a great thing. We don't want to lose our greens because we fought all year to get them. Pretty much that's it, Mr. Lawrence. I'll get you your reports first part of the week. I just grabbed the wrong folder going out the door.
I just wanted to add one thing for those who are playing in the Twilight League. We're suspending that until the first part of September. Okay.
And I'd like to add in your report too. I've already put it into the dispatch once as a golf tip, but I want to ask folks, please, if you're not golfing, stay off of the golf course. It's a dangerous thing to be jogging on the paths or for children to be walking across the fairways. It's very dangerous. I'd ask you to please stay off.
Yes, and if you've never been hit by a golf ball, let me tell you, my husband hit a tree, it come back, and it knocked him totally out. This was only a couple of months ago. I've been hit with a ball and come back here, and I had a bruise for over 3 months. They are very dangerous, and children out there without parents on that golf course is a dangerous thing.
There are children out there with their parents, and that worries
That is,
me.
yes.
And even on the paths, golf paths, that's not safe. So if you see children with or without parents, try to, if you've got your voice back, I mean, still yell at them, for goodness sakes. Thank you.
Well, you can, and I've actually seen children come across with their parents and actually had to stop a guy. And you don't want to stop a guy in the middle of his backswing, but that could have been very dangerous if I hadn't have done that. So guys aren't quite as observant sometimes as women are. We kind of we protect our children all the time. But no, and there's things you can't see, but when a ball hits a tree, you don't know where they're going.
I know, I've worked on
Debbie, I have a question. So are children not allowed on the golf course at all?
If they're with their parents, they are allowed, but during golfing hours, if you're not golfing, please don't use those as biking and hiking trails.
Okay.
And golfing hours are from 7 to 7 now, aren't they?
I think, Debbie, it should be clear that they're allowed with their parents.
They are.
If their parents are playing golf, not just out there recreational
Exactly.
riding.
So I can't just go for a walk and have
No.
No.
And
You should
children,
not.
if they're not golfing, are supposed to stay, even guests are supposed to stay in the golf cart if you're not golfing.
Thank you for
Debbie, can they enforce also that they keep the golf carts off the green, of the green areas and in the golf area? Because as it is, it's drying up and there's dust everywhere.
That's what she just said.
Okay.
I'm beginning to think we don't listen to each other.
What I am asking everybody to do the 90-degree rule. Stay off of the fairways. I was going down through there yesterday, and there was a group of 4 people out there playing and just going down the middle of the fairway. Mm-hmm. The rule is 90-degree rule. That means a 90-degree to your ball, and then right back off the golf course at a 90-degree, not using the whole fairway as a cart path. And we are watching that. We've got our workers are watching it, our golf committee's watching it. I'm continually on my husband because he doesn't think sometimes, hey, you're supposed to go to your ball and off the course. So, and other people I do that with. So we do police it. And safety is a great thing with all of us out there. Sam?
You're not allowed to drive your golf cart on the golf paths at any time, not even at midnight, unless you pay the trail fee. Correct?
That's what I've thought, but it's been a debatable.
Well, that's what the golf marshal told me one night. I'm just saying, I don't know, but.
Oh, we do. We pay.
So you're not supposed to drive your golf cart even after golf hours on the trails.
Well, it is a nice place to go look at the deer in the afternoon if they're not golfing. I don't know what the actual Fort's real rule on that is.
Did you want to go ahead and say something?
You can ride on it after 7?
You may still have golfers out there went out at 6.
Well,
Okay.
they went out at 6, but there are also people that wait until the golf hours are over and then they go out to play golf. So I wouldn't trust it. It scares me when I see mothers and their children and their dogs out there walking on the paths because they aren't safe. You know, I just hold my breath when I see them go by.
No, it is, and I agree. But you know, like I said, after hours, and the reason we just changed those hours were from 7 to 7 is because people were coming in after 6 o'clock after everybody's gone home and playing free golf. So they increased those hours another hour.
Okay, this is an educational thing, and so I will continue to put these comments in dispatch. Also, we'll post signs showing no walking, biking, or et cetera on the paths so that folks can learn. It's a question of not knowing.
It's not knowing, and I have actually started talking to some of the parents where kids are cutting across to their houses. I'm talking to those parents and letting them know the dangers there.
Yeah,
So when I realize somebody's doing it and I find out who their parents are, I've actually been telling them, hey, you need to have your children go around.
We've noticed that during the school year that happens from the bus stop to their home. So we'll be on the.
But we would love to, as we notice things, be able to just send you an email and see if you couldn't address it. Because, like I said, we've got 5 people on the committee and plus a couple other people. So the more information we can get out, the better everybody's going to be, I believe.
Okay.
Was there a question I missed for her? Okay.
Mayor, I forgot to mention, the architectural committee still needs at least 1 or 2 more members. So just wanted to let y'all know that.
We had somebody. Steve. Oh, Steve Goodwin, yes.
Yeah, we don't know if he's been appointed or not, or approved.
Well, it has to be done
right
here.
Yeah.
And you have to, once again, get us an agenda item. I don't know. It's something that we could perhaps do by email because it is necessary. So maybe we can find a way to do the voting by email on this particular time.
Thank you.
Because I know you are short.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Preservation? These are running long and I'm going to start, well, I'm going to stop talking maybe.
You're threatening to cut me off already? My name is Darwin Young. I'm chairman of the Preservation Committee. I got pictures for the board and then make sure they wind up in Monique's hand and I'll come by and pick them up next week. These are pictures of the drainage problem we're having in the commissary where the road and the commissary building is. We had put a French drain in and it's not working. We addressed that about 5 years ago and we thought we had the problem solved. So these are pictures for the board to look at today. And you can see there's a lot more water there now than it was when we addressed the problem about 5 years ago. We had our meeting Wednesday, and we discussed, Debbie wasn't there, but we discussed the meeting we had with the board of directors at their workshop. Basically, from the report of the money in the preservation fund today is the same it was last month, the month before that, the month before that, the month before that, 18,000. And we were told at the committee by the president of the board to estimate how much money we had in our preservation fund. So we estimated it and we're going out for jobs. Sandy at the workshop informed Debbie and I that the dollar a month was on memberships, not on collective, we're on memberships that we have and not the monies we collect from the membership. So we took an average of memberships and figured we got $1 a month from that, which was about, I think we figured $1,800.
I'm going to move you along on that. If it's something on finance like that, let's solve it once and for all.
You asked for a report, I'm trying to give it.
All right.
Garland, if I can just interrupt you a moment. I have looked into this at this point, and I have some tentative answers for you I can give you later. And there's going to be more information and research done on it by Randy. I had a discussion with Randy and with Sandy about it. And I think you have quite a bit more money than that, but it all has to be sorted out, and some of it has to do with being a 501c3 and all that.
Basically what I'm reporting is we did an estimate, we went out for jobs on the east and the west end of Seminole Hall to repair and replace the windows. They're basically almost falling out. And we're going to go out for bids on the commissary building to fix that drainage problem so that the limestone that's forming the base of the building doesn't collapse. If the members take a look at the baseline of the floor, you can see where the limestone is starting to erode away. And basically that's what we've had. On one note from Sandy, or to Sandy, when you quoted the resolution that it was $1 per membership, not monies collected, I'd also like to remind the board that the resolution doesn't say that the money should go into restricted fund. It says it should go into preservation fund. And that's my report.
Recycling?
Start by asking Bill, how many Gaylords have we got full now?
I have no idea. No, we got at least probably about 20, 25, somewhere in that area.
Okay. Philip reports that he thinks he needs about 7 more bales of cardboard to send another full load, and this one will not be impacted by back debt. So it all comes through the fort. The other piece of good news is that we made our first carton bale this past week. The school brought their trailer in. Philip called me, and I was able to bring the cartons that we've been collecting here on the fort down, and they went in that bale too. And that kicks in our grant for transportation assistance. So we should be getting our transportation costs cut markedly, which is going to put us in the black every shipment for the foreseeable future. And other than that, it's been pretty good. I have not had any reports, nor have I seen anybody dumping anything at the gate or over the fence recently, which is a sea change. It's been brutally hot, and I will just warn people, many of my volunteers are in their 70s and 80s. And on a Thursday afternoon, if it's over 100 degrees in that shed, they're not going to stay open until 6 o'clock. It's just not safe. Charlene and I have both ended up sick from just getting so hot we couldn't stand it. So if it's closed early on a Thursday, please understand it's because it's just too hot for the people that are trying to provide the volunteer service. And we'll hope you all understand. And other than that,
I'd like to make a comment that I would appreciate if the people who are bringing stuff over to recycle would kind of pre-sort it or make sure that they're putting it in the right bin. We have bottles, water bottles in a canned place and paper. You know, it's just people are just not paying it that much attention as to where everything should go. And my wife and I have to go over there and dumpster dive and move the stuff to where it belongs. So we just appreciate if you do a little bit more, be a little more concerned about where you're putting the items.
It's true that many of the volunteers go through the Gaylords and pull things out because people are not carefully separating their plastics, particularly the plastics. And they're in a hurry and they just throw. And the other thing is, nothing can be put in those Gaylords that's still in a plastic bag. If you bring it in a plastic bag, it has to come. And we'd appreciate it if you took your plastic bags back with you.
You also take the caps off of whatever you're going to, the plastic stuff you bring in. Take the caps off. We can't, we don't want them.
You don't have room enough for them either.
Well, the problem is that the caps are a different type of plastic. So they just, this has been the rule for 9 years not to leave caps on your bottles.
I have a comment or a suggestion. Do you think it would be possible to open on Thursday in the morning, like from 9 to 11 or something like that I think it's terrible to be up there in the afternoon with all this heat.
And I totally agree with you. The reason that we started doing it that way is accommodating people who work all day.
I understand.
And have other commitments on Saturday. We need some period of time to be open during the week that people who work can get to. I would love to see us be open in the morning on Thursday, but practically speaking, we're eliminating a whole segment of the Fort population from having access to the hours. And the upshot of that is they call me and want to know if I can run up and open up for them. And I need a longer yo-yo string to keep doing.
Can you hear what she's saying? She wasn't very close to the.
Yes.
Yes, we heard it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Anything else? We have a short RV report. I'm not sure that we want. They continue as they are continuing, and we're going to talk about the RV park a little later. So I'm not going to. And there's no one to give the report. So other than a member of the board, we will hold that for later. Do we have a recreation report?
I don't believe that Carolyn is here.
Okay. And the ad hoc bylaw revision committee, thank you.
My name's Phyllis, I'm the chairperson of the bylaw committee, our ad hoc bylaw committee. My report will be real short. Last month, I did give you a working report of the bylaws. I did not receive any information back from the board. We did not meet between then and now because of vacations and other things, but we will be meeting and you will get the final report next month because we are done, other than dotting i's.
Okay. With the Declaration Committee, we met with them in a kind of a workshop after, more than once after the report was turned in.
Right.
But if you're asking the board for right now to get on them, we're a little overloaded. So
No, I'm not. I'm just saying
I
did give you the working report, and that at the next board meeting you will get our final report. And I do
Okay.
realize that there'll be workshops on it.
Right. And I looked at it and I thought, is it one thing I can hold off on? And I decided it was, because this has been a very busy summer.
Okay.
But I know it is for you all too, and I really appreciate the work.
Well, it is an extremely important document that needs to be revised.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Phyllis. There isn't a community council report, is there? Did you meet?
The two of us that are here, Allison's going to do it.
What have you done to yourself now?
Oh, I had a little crushed finger accident and they amputated it. Allison Watkinson, Treasurer for Community Council. We do not meet in the months of July and August, but I do want to tell you that we are supporting the fun days for Fort Clark Springs, and we are providing the movie again for August 5th. I believe it's Beauty and the Beast, and it will be shown in the pool area rather than the amphitheater area. And Community Council will be doing the refreshments at the Duck Inn. So while we don't meet, we are still continuing to...
How does that work? I know you had a little trouble with the amphitheater showing, but how does it work at the pool?
I'm not sure it'll be the first time. I know that maintenance has agreed to put the screen up for us. And so the hope is that we will keep more, I believe the hope is that we'll keep more people, down in that area later on in the evening. So that's what the fort decided, and we're in support of that. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please take care of yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Dear me. Okay. A consideration, and I've said again, for the appointment of the airport committee members. They did provide,
I have a correction to make in the transfers.
oops.
That's my fault.
let's deal with the airport, and then we'll move on, okay?
It's just an addition.
We'll go back and pick it up. I promised to get Maria out of here.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I'm okay. My husband has my kids now, so I'm good.
You're going to enjoy your time, is that what you're saying?
He can enjoy his time.
Okay. Someone had a question, and I don't remember who, about what the airport committee members were doing. Does anybody?
That's what? Copy of them?
No, we all have copies of the. I would have preferred that they all be about the same length, but because
How many committee members are we going to appoint?
I think 5.
6, isn't it 6?
No.
We're asking for all these people to.
Sue Martin's not,
No,
No.
Sue Martin's married to Stan Martin.
so she's not.
We knew that.
No, I know, but I mean, I saw her name.
Correct.
Yes. See, that's what's confusing, and I think that was the question.
Okay.
Because she's here, and probably rightly so, but your husband's also here, probably rightly so, but neither of them is a member of the committee. Your bio is wonderful because you're the only female, but you still need to shrink it if you possibly can, because we keep these in a place where the next time somebody comes up, we can stick the bio in there. If it's not too much trouble, I'd like to see you, all of you have about the same length, and probably Sam and Larry and Mike had a little heads up because they've been on the committee before, and we have asked for these types of things before. So everything that you've submitted is excellent, except to keep them on file, we really would like to have them be the same size. That makes sense.
Yeah, I can shrink down.
Okay, well, shrink. I mean, you might want to just reduce the amount of words.
Right, it's same thing.
Yeah, well, not even. We don't get as much of your background. I'm really impressed by the fact that you are our lone female pilot. I hope you attract others. Oh, I'm getting some feedback back there. Talk to me. Is there another female pilot?
Other female pilots on the airport.
Okay.
Such as Sue Martin. Sue Martin, Stan's wife, is a very accomplished aerobatic pilot who flew pit specials and did all kind of aerobatic shows in air shows. And
Oh.
everybody
That's in the
who's
bio.
on that 5-panel committee is in
But
one
it's-
way or another a bona fide expert on aviation.
I got you. But she's not a member of the committee.
No, she's not, but there are other female pilots on the board. And we reluctantly did include one female member to the committee. Not all of us were on board with that, but
Yes.
in the,
We need to be careful how.
after pointing out, Myrna, we have to have a diversification, and so here we are.
All right.
We're looking for one one-eyed black astronaut. We haven't found one yet.
Actually, I think I know one. No. All right. Do you understand what he's pointing out kindly?
Oh yeah, no, Sam's kind of half joking back there, but well, I'm the only one that has active license to fly.
Does-
Sue is a very accomplished pilot, and that's in Stan's bio
But-
as well.
She's not a member of the committee.
I understand.
I want you to shrink.
We will. I will. I'll get that done.
Yes. It's not to denigrate anything that any of you have accomplished. When you are I'm trying to say things that are just going to extend the meeting. So do we have a motion to appoint these committee members?
I make a motion.
I second.
Okay. I would like to point out that we are not appointing, for instance, the president and secretaries. We are appointing members only. Any discussion?
What was the length of their term? Are they going to be appointed for 1 month, 1 year, eternity?
It's a 2-year term.
2?
Yes, sir.
Are they staggered? I didn't.
They're not staggered. It's a 2-year term, and we can be reappointed as the board allows to be reappointed. There are not enough physical members to be able
I
to
hear you.
successfully stagger.
Again, that would
Yet.
be good information for you to give us.
Okay.
These are all questions that we had, but we couldn't get answered. So it isn't that we have anything against the airport committee, because I am in favor of the whole damn thing. Okay. Was there something up here? Do we have, excuse me.
Amend the motion to be for 2-year terms?
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's already in the resolution.
Oh, it was, yeah, you're right.
We don't need to do
We,
that.
we do have it in the original resolution. It says how long the terms are. But I did not understand they were not staggered.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay. Moving on, let's amend the, Sandy?
Oh, I didn't know when. Okay, my fault. When I checked this before, when we got it, I evidently skipped over one of them, and my addition was in error. The actual June transfers were totaled $118,920.59, not $138,985.11. And I generally do a quick check of that to make sure the addition is correct, and somehow I missed it, so my apologies. So I will, amend my motion and move to approve the bank transfer as corrected.
Second.
I would suggest that we put the motion to, excuse me, the motion up in the minutes next to the treasurer's report. Okay? Anyone else? Did you have something? Okay. All in favor? Motion passes. Consideration for approval of the removal of Highway 90 frontage. That's yours, Richard, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Very simply, I did not want to take any action without first coming to the board in this regard. I'm asking the board to approve the removal of the chain link fence from the gate 200 feet east and 200 feet west.
Why?
Will you wait till there's a...
Well, you're moving pretty slow, so I wanted to know why.
I apologize. We'll let Richard finish, and then he may give you the answer right there, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, if I may continue.
Go ahead.
Removal of the fence 200 feet east and then 200 feet west. The idea, this takes us all the way from the gate to the damaged area where the car recently ran through the fence. And so, and then on the westward way, it takes most of the damaged and stretched fence away as well, with the idea that we would begin the process of replacing it with a stone column and stone column and rail fencing as well. Mr. Russell Noel came to me very recently with an idea of constructing columns with not with stones, heavy stone, but with stone veneer, and should substantially reduce the cost of doing so. We're looking into that to see if that's a viable option and one that could be more affordable. Ms. Jan Metcalf, I appreciate, came in with a recommendation that in doing this, we might appeal to the members to contribute funds for memorials placed at each one of the columns. I thought it was a marvelous idea. So bottom line, I'm simply asking for the removal of the fence so that we can begin the process of putting forth a more attractive fence.
I know you showed me models some time ago and they're very attractive and certainly would enhance the appearance. I'm concerned about how it would enhance the security, so I do not know how high those are, your intended rail and column fence, and if the rails are going to be close enough to prevent people from just slipping in between them and going on in. Also, I think we need to know what that total cost is going to be before we start tearing down our existing fence. This is just my position. So I think going forward and obtaining estimates as to the cost that we're talking about here, and then also looking at what it would cost to repair that fence, to straighten out some of the piping on the top and maybe replacing some of the chains there. But the sample that you presented me several months ago is very attractive, I have to say that.
Richard, were we paid by the responsible party for the damage to our fence?
That hasn't happened yet, but I believe the estimate was about $1,500 to $1,700, I believe, from the insurance premium, but I don't think that's happened yet.
So, assuming that we are paid, because there's obviously no question about liability on that issue, we can use that toward any fencing changes.
And that fence is the face of the fort. This is what people see as they drive by, and most people look at it and wonder whether or not this is an institution of some sort, or a prison or something along those lines.
Absolutely.
And it's ugly, and in terms of marketing the fort, is not.
Please let him talk, will you?
In terms of marketing the fort, it's not very attractive. It's not very welcoming. So.
Well, an additional problem is you can't keep the weeds away from the base of a chain link fence, and if you think that it keeps people out, we're mistaken, because people are hopping that fence all the time. Chain link's really easy to climb, especially if you're 20. But
Well, this is also just some 200 feet either side of the gate, at least visually, the gate attendants would be able to see.
I would like to make a comment there. I wondered if you could put this 200 feet on the outside of the existing fence. We do not need an opening 200 feet on either side of the guardhouse for deer to run in and out of Highway 90, or people to be crawling in and coming into the fort.
Yes, ma'am. When we had a little discussion about it before, you mentioned that to me, so I went to the gate attendant at night and I asked him, do deer ever come? He says every night the deer will come through the gate. They go into town, they carouse, and they come back through the gate. So,
just like the old soldiers.
Just like the old soldiers. So,
that just gives them more room to come and go.
Well, but then if you remember also that just down another 200 feet or so, it turns into barbed wire fence on 95th.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, yes. But I don't think that we just got through turning down, the membership turned down a proposal to put in a security gate there, and now we're going to open it up on either side 200 feet for people to crawl in and out. That's more of my concern than it is a deer. They'll find a way out if they want to get there.
You all keep talking about crawling. What am I missing? Don't they just walk?
The ones from the village do walk, ma'am, yes.
Thank you.
If I could just say further, I think this encompasses an entire project that involves more than just removing the fence. Once the fence is removed, we're committed. And without knowing what the cost of the new replacement fence is, we're committing ourselves to a project without any ideas to the expenditures involved. I can't say I'm necessarily opposed to it, but I would like to know when it's all done and over, how much is it gonna cost us? You know me, bottom line.
And do we have the money?
That's another question.
Okay. There were some comments back there. If you have some, would you stand up and go ahead? I didn't see who it was.
This is only in addition to that gentleman's comment. I realize Texas is kind of a mild-mannered place, and I'm not a native, okay?
I apologize. You have something important to say. Would you come up here, please? Yeah, everybody would like to know your name, please.
I'm Dale Hembrook. I live in the condo, the old BOQ, and you don't know that, but I speak for a lot of people going down the road because they told me to. I think you have, and I don't know your name, that's okay.
Dan Sullivan.
Your approach to this situation, I think, is the best one. You go tearing down a fence over there, you're going to have people burning up your pool park over here like they did a few years ago, okay? Not everybody that lives over there is a bad person. There are wonderful people living all over Bracken. There are druggies over there are ruffians over there, and there are people that don't go to your church, okay? You don't want to just let them have free access to my port and your port. And I think if you're going to redo the fence, you don't start by tearing it down. You start by figuring out what it should be when you get all done with it. And before you do that, I think you ought to pass the membership. Again, not just you folks. I'll leave that in your hands.
And I agree with that. We did present the membership with the gate problem, and I think the membership should have a right to say what goes on with this, because it could impact someone or everyone. Thank you.
Is there any way to fix the fence while we figure out what we're going to spend on it? I mean, I know that there's a couple of sections that are pretty bad. What are we looking at as far as?
To actually repair the fence?
Yes.
Well, the estimate made by the insurance folks is in the neighborhood of $1,500, but I was hesitant to do that before.
What I'm hearing, Jerry, is that they want the fence to be there until the replacement is figured out and ready to go. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing.
Is that what I'm getting out of there?
Well, that's basically what I'm saying, although I don't know if we need to spend money on repairing something that maybe in a couple of months or 6 months we're going to tear down. So my suggestion would be to go forth as quickly as possible in determining what kind of, as the gentleman said, fence you're going to put up there, what's going to be there, and what's it going to cost, and then look at the entire project and move forward from there.
Go ahead.
I did have a question, because I think you only repeated half of what he said.
Okay,
The other part of it.
You're in front of the camera. I don't know if you.
My question is, I agree that it's the face and the first thing that we see, but the gentleman also addressed the fact that the membership should have a say. So my question is it possible to provide two options, hey, this is a beautiful option, or repair this option, and then give general membership the opportunity to say, yes, I like that one, A or B? Is that possible?
It would cost as much to request the membership's input as it would to fix the fence that we have now. In other words, it's between $1,500 and $2,000 to send out a mailing. We're sending a big one anyway in January for the election of new board members. So keeping costs down I'm not sure that this is, and I'm going to put myself out there so you can say boo. I don't think that this is a membership issue. I think this is a membership input as you've just done. I think it's very important that you've told us what you feel. And I agree that we need security until we have something new to put in there. But going out for membership input on everything like this does not seem like an appropriate use of time. And I'm only giving you my opinion at this point. So I've got some more comments back there, so thank you. You could sit down. You have a genuine good reason for sitting. Are you in pain?
No, I'm not in pain.
Oh, thank goodness.
I know, really. As long as you're looking for input. My husband and I drove by the entrance to Fort Clark Springs in 2002, 6 times in 2002, on our way in our motorhome to Laughlin Air Force Base, because that's where our son was stationed. Looking at the outside of Fort Clark Springs as an outsider for the first time coming down 90, it does look like an institution. It did not look like it was a welcoming place. We could have been members of Fort Clark Springs since 2002 instead of running into somebody at Albuquerque Balloon Festival in 2010 and being introduced to Fort Clark Springs. I think that the chain link fence, as an outsider looking in, is off-putting. We question, there's a hotel back there, but behind the chain link fence. There's a restaurant back there, but behind the chain link fence. So I think that of anything that we can do to make on each side of that entranceway more attractive so we can attract people inside so they're not questioning what's going on behind a chain link fence would be most beneficial. I do agree that we don't want to take down a fence before we're ready to put something else back up. But I would ask that we think of something that is more aesthetically pleasing and inviting than a chain link fence. And there are lots of things out there that are more aesthetically pleasing and inviting than a chain link fence. That's all I have to say on it. I mean, I know you would have loved to have had me as a member 8 years earlier than we actually got.
Darn right we would. We'd have had camels sooner. Okay.
I would like to comment.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overlook you.
I've been here for 22 years, and I do feel the same way, that it looks like an institution when you drive by. If the people that this gentleman was talking about think that that little bit of chain link fence along the front will keep out people, it won't. Because I live in the back in Unit 37, and I have barbed wire fence that's down behind my house. And anybody can step over that wants to. It's 2 little strands of barbed wire, and it does not keep anybody out. No. And it's that way all around the fort except for our chain link fence in the front. The rest of it is barbed wire fence everywhere. Behind your house, everywhere. So we need a new appeal in the front. Yes.
Okay. Having heard what members are saying and what the boards are feeling, do I have any? Oh,
I didn't go to Harvard. I went to the University of Houston. So this is not from the Wharton College of Law at Harvard University. But this is just a simple axiom. If you keep on doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep on getting what you've been getting. We got to make some changes in order to attract people to the fort. Now, we're in the doldrums right now of summer, and I'm glad to hear about some activities. I'm not usually here. I'm usually in Cloudcroft, New Mexico, which, by the way, Ann, the high for today is 68. But
we gotta change, and we gotta be receptive to change in order to change outcomes.
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Good point, Sam, thank you. Do we have a motion that anybody would like to go forward?
Well, I'd offer a motion that we go forward with the project without removing the chain link fence at this time and securing a cost estimate for the entire project of replacing the existing chain link fence, 200 feet east and 200 feet west. I don't know how many feet up. You can determine that.
I'm sorry, did you get all that?
No, I do not.
I needed it repeated myself. Could you do that?
I will attempt to repeat myself. Listen carefully, I'm only going to say this once. That comes from a television show that you may not be aware of. I would move that we go forward with this project without removing the fence at this time, but securing a cost for the entire project, including the replacement of the existing chain link fence 200 feet east of the main gate and 200 feet west of the main gate. That's it.
And that's what you seconded, right? Yes. Okay. Any more discussion? I'd like to say just a couple things, again, coming only from me. This is the type of project that the board needs to move on, because it's not something that, as Sam says, we should keep doing like we're doing. So I think Dan's motion is to give us the ability to move quickly on this, because it does look like hell.
Yay!
No question, no question. All right, so when you have, it could be even next month that you would have something ready to go, I would think. Okay. Something else?
No.
Okay, I thought you did. Anyone else? Quit raising your hand ahead of
Voting. Oh, I'm sorry.
You only get to vote once, Bill.
All in favor of Dan's motion? All right. Not quite what you wanted, but I hope you understand we're behind you.
My job is to present the ideas.
Dan, did you have something in the form of a motion?
You regarding hiring practices?
Yes, that was the next.
Okay, certainly, I'll speak to it. Prior to the agenda coming out, I had suggested a resolution be put on the agenda regarding hiring practices. I thought it was pretty generic and pretty non-controversial, but it certainly sparked a flurry of responses and activities and all sorts of things, which really took me by surprise. I want to read that. I had expected some constructive suggestions to it. The first one I have already accepted, and that was to, rather than a resolution, just making it a policy adopted by the association. So I want to read that now. It's not long. And there's two changes that I myself, on reflection, have made. So Monique, if you could follow along with me, and they're very simple but meaningful changes, and make them. The heading is for Clark Springs Association Hiring Practices. Fort Clark Springs Association, hereinafter referred to as FCSA, adopts as a policy rather than resolves. Originally I had resolves. That will be changed to adopt as policy, that as far as possible, when seeking candidates to fill any, and now I'm inserting a new word, permanent employment positions. Permanent was not originally in there. That position will be advertised and posted as follows. Advertised in the Del Rio, Kinney County, and Uvalde newspapers for a minimum of, and I had 2, and I've changed that now to 1 week. Next, posted on the FCSA website under employment opportunities, readily visible on the home page. Next, posted in the FCSA HQ dispatch. And lastly, listed with the Texas Workforce Commission. Then, all applications will be considered equally in compliance with federal and state laws, and the most qualified candidates will be selected to fill the positions. FCSA is an equal opportunity employer. Okay, that's the extent of it. I did not think that would be controversial or cause any concern or threat to anyone, and maybe it hasn't, I hope not. But that proposal, I would like to make a couple things clear, is not a reflection on or critique of present or past procedures. It is simply a good business policy that I feel should be of record. There are 2 obvious benefits. First, the more people that are aware of an employment opportunity, the more applications are likely to be made, and the better employee we are likely to secure. I think that's fairly obvious. Secondly, although I in no way believe we have ever discriminated in any way, it is always better to be proactive, and this is a statement that we are truly an equal opportunity employer with our employment openings open to any and all folks. Having this policy of record would be of a great benefit should we ever be so unfortunate to have a discrimination complaint made against us. The fact is that discrimination cases, and I had in my lifetime of career have had experience with this to some extent, never having been a defendant, but when there's a complaint made, it basically reverses the innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent. You have to prove, basically that's the bottom line that it works out, that you did not discriminate. So that's where it could be a benefit there. Since that time, since I asked for that, I've received, we had an email chain, I think of 18 or 19 emails. I received email from Richard outlining their present policy, and now this morning when I came in, I see I have another printed form. And I think that's wonderful. I think everything they're doing is good. I have no criticism of it, and I never intended to. I do think that anything and everything they're doing here that's listed in mine, it doesn't interfere with that. It simply confirms that is our policy, and it's a record. And with that, I'm not going to become embroiled in any big debate over it. It's simply a matter of if the board wants to adopt that as a policy, if they want to modify it in some way and then adopt it, or if they want to throw it out the window. As Richard said, it's just my idea, and I'm laying it out there for you. Thanks.
Well, many of those emails came from me, so I'll talk about it right now.
You and others.
I know. My concern was that we do have policies and procedures in force now, and I wanted to be sure that you were aware of what we did have. Maybe we should have gotten those out to you ahead of time, but the thing is that we do have a policy and procedures manual, and in that manual is a page, that's where that comes from. It's page, I don't know, page number. doesn't have one? Oh, it's page 1 and 2 of the manual itself.
Yeah, this maybe hiring practices is not a good title for what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is a procedure for securing candidates for employment. In other words, if we, and there's nothing wrong with hiring people or filling employment positions by word of mouth or by somebody, I know this person or you know that person or whatever, but if that becomes a habit, it could also be construed as a policy that's trying to be very selective of the demographics of your employees that you're choosing. And so it doesn't, this policy does not prohibit you from going forth with the policies you already have, which many are very similar to what I have in here. And it doesn't prohibit you from that word of mouth personal connection. It simply says that you make it open to the entire public and then take a look at your personal connection, if you have any, and at all the other applicants.
You're absolutely right, but my question continues to be, has there been a complaint that you're responding to, or?
I'm not responding to any complaint, and really if I were, it's in my opinion, irrelevant. This is simply a good business practice and good business policy that I'm proposing, in my opinion, and nothing more. I would be if I were to say this person or that person complained, which no employee has, not one employee has said a word to me or complained. Make that clear.
I understand. Just a minute, Ann.
Sure.
What I'm trying to get from you is the difference between what you're. I do have a question about limiting it to the newspapers because, number one, they're expensive. And it depends on if you're going to pay somebody minimum wage, it doesn't make sense to spend a lot of money getting them there. But your idea of the Workforce Commission is one of the things that I think hasn't been done. I would really love to have a motion that fills in where the current policy does not.
You could put in the motion that advertising in newspapers should be at the discretion of management.
Social media is the way they go.
Well, social media, you never get me. So.
Probably why they're not looking for
What the
us.
hell is social media anyway?
It's based social for one thing.
But put in that the advertising in newspapers will be at the discretion of management.
It's not really changing anything. It's right there. It says
Could
It does, but that pretty much is confined to the Kinney County Post, if I believe so, which is fine, but that circulation involves basically the Brackettville and Kinney County area, doesn't it?
In the first place, I have the discretion already to go to whatever newspaper I need to go to, San Antonio. If
You don't want to make it a policy of record, huh?
It's a policy.
Wait. Let's do it differently. Ann, you had a comment.
I would like to second the first motion that he made. I think that it needs to be put into, just like what he said, just the 3 local newspapers. It won't cost us an arm and a leg. It's not going to break us. It might bring us better employees. So I'm seconding the first motion that Dan made.
There's been no motion.
Did you make a motion, Dan?
He did.
Yes, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
That was why he was marching underneath through it.
Sorry.
Yes, he did make a motion.
I misunderstood. May I?
Go ahead.
Dan, I have no problem with what you've written. I just think it's a duplication of effort because our current policy and procedures manual already says that the FCSA is an equal opportunity employer and will not discriminate against any employer applicant based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, age, military status, or disability. It goes on for there. That covers the one point. And then the other point under employment process, our current practice already has FCSA will fill positions as deemed in the best interest of the association, may include posted notices on various bulletin boards, newspaper advertising, or by any other means necessary. So it doesn't restrict us to just local, because some of our positions can't be filled necessarily locally because of expertise required, and we may have to go outside of the area. So this allows us to branch out and go to whatever means are necessary. So I think, although I understand the intention, I have no problems with what you wrote. I think it's just a duplication of something that we already have in writing.
Let me make a suggestion. We think it's a duplication, but maybe it isn't. Suppose we change it just a little bit to say, your motion, to say that your motion is to use this to be sure that we are, in other words, to be sure that the policy that currently exists, et cetera, am I making sense?
Sure. Comment though to what Sandy pointed out. In newspaper advertising, it just says newspaper advertising. It doesn't designate what newspaper.
Nor should it.
I don't think it should.
Because I think it's important that we encompass our geographical area, which would include Uvalde to Del Rio.
So under that policy, I would be required to purchase an advertisement in both Del Rio and Uvalde for, say, a pool attendant at minimum wage.
Not necessarily, because I just changed it to a permanent employee. A pool attendant would be a part-time.
Well, all right, then let's use it. A different one would be simply a minimum wage hospitality, minimum wage housekeeper.
I think most of the housekeepers are also part-time, aren't they?
Could we simply modify our current to say local and regional advertising?
I would prefer, if I may speak, I would prefer a policy that says we at Fort Clark will seek, by the broadest means necessary, the most applicant. I don't know, I'm going off the cuff here, but the policy should be different than stating the method. And so I would ask you to develop a policy, if you wish, to express what it is that you want to see happen in the way of meeting whatever hiring requirements there are by law, meeting minority requirements or quotas, things of that sort, and then leave the methods to us to accomplish that.
Well, I think it gives you a lot of latitude as it's written, but the obvious result that I want to see happen is that when we have an employment position open here, is that it's exposed to as many people as possible.
And that should be your policy.
In the area.
That should be the policy, in my opinion.
And that's what it says, or by any means.
By using adequate means, and of course then that can be arbitrary, because you may consider adequate means putting a notice on the marquee out here, and I may consider adequate means being advertised in the Del Rio newspaper or whatever.
And the way your policy is written makes no mention of social media whatsoever, and that should be a primary.
But my policy does not limit you from that. It doesn't say you can't do this or you can't do that. It just says these things will be done, and anything in addition to that you want to do, you would be commended for. Go for it. But as I said, I didn't want to get embroiled in this, and here I am. It seems I am embroiled. You would think it would be a pretty unobnoxious, unthreatening proposition here, but I guess it isn't.
It's not a question of threatening.
No, I don't.
No, that's not it at all, Dan. That's not it at all. I think that this is something that employment practice and hiring isn't something that the board should be writing. It should be written by our human resources person who is actually experienced and trained in putting together employment practices. And perhaps the wording needs to be changed a little bit in that one section to accommodate what you're suggesting. But I personally think we should table this and let Dan work with our HR person if he thinks that there should be some changes made, and then we can talk about that maybe at the next meeting.
And I'd still like to see you change your motion to make sure that the current policy includes this, because I think that makes it palatable. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure. I guess you could add in there that this policy in no way inhibits or...
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we should make sure that our current policy includes your recommendation here.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh, then shut me down. Sorry.
I was going to say that we could add in here that this policy in no way inhibits or restricts management from utilizing existing policies or any other methods they deem appropriate.
I still have a problem with stating that notices of employment have to be that certain newspapers have to be used when in fact it's
All right,
always a good
fine.
idea.
Rather than go on and on like that, why don't we say advertised in local newspapers?
Why only local newspapers?
Come on.
I think most of your employment positions will be filled by someone that
I
lives
think the
within a
policy,
40
the
or
way that
50
we-
mile
The way that
radius.
we have the policy gives us the latitude that we need to do exactly what you want us to do.
And that's my suggestion, that it be, I don't want you to say a negative, I want you to say a positive. And I'm not sure I'm making sense. Let's read it back and get it ready for a vote, okay? Got something? Just exactly what Dan told you initially.
I have that Dan made a motion to adopt this policy for Clark Springs Association hiring practices for Clark Springs Association herein after referred to as FCSA adopts as a policy that as far as is possible when seeking candidates to fill in any employment position, that position will be advertised and posted as follows. Permanent employment position. That position will be advertised and posted as follows. Advertised in the Del Rio, Kinney County, and Uvalde newspapers for a minimum of 1 week. Posted on the FCSA website under employment opportunities, readily visible on the homepage. Posted in the FCSA HQ dispatch, listed with the Texas Workforce Commission. All applications will be considered equally in compliance with federal and state laws, and the most qualified candidate will be selected to fill the position. FCSA is an equal opportunity employer. And Barron seconded.
Did you have any changes?
No.
Are we ready for a vote?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You can always call the question. All in favor? All opposed? And I'm sorry, I'm abstaining.
Then the motion fails with the lack of a majority.
Well, there's still work we can do on it.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I still think it can, I'll work on it, all right? Because I know what your concern is, and I just don't think we're there yet. Okay. The board did some I'm in old unfinished business. We did some voting by email because we had to get the checks out for the contractors who were doing the hail damage repairs. And so those would, if you're really interested in what they are, those will appear in the minutes of this meeting. For some reason, we didn't list them here, and my memory's failing. All right. On the financial workshop, did you want to take that, Sandy?
No, I was going to do you wanted me to do the hailstorm one.
Oh, excuse me. That's where that information is.
That's all right. Okay, we are hopefully going to be able to finalize with the insurance carrier, our broker, and a broker's adjuster, our hailstorm. We have some replacement cost money that we think we should get back from the insurance carrier, and our hail repair person, Elite, believes that they should get some additional money back from the insurance carrier. So we're going to be meeting in August to go over what's been paid and what we think is still owed to us. So just in summary, we have most recently done HVAC, air conditioning work on the administration building, the teen center, and Dickman Hall. And we have replaced it with somewhat better equipment than the adjuster allowed, which was like, kind, and quality, and that was several years old. So like, kind, and quality is what is owed. We have the option to replace with something else, but we pay the difference between replacement costs of like, kind, and quality and any upgrading that we do. We have an account. As of 7/12/17, which is a couple days ago, I did an accounting of what we have. We have a balance on June 14th, and it remains the same, of $72,734.71. That's what remaining in the actual cash value account. We recently issued a check for the Dickman Hall air conditioner. 4 units were allowed. We have replaced 1. I prorated out the ductwork that goes with those, so this is for 1 only. And we paid the HVAC company $5,250, which left us with $67,484.71. Of that, we will still owe repair to the 2 foam roofs on the fire station and on the art club. Okay. Now, we have contacted the roofer. He hasn't done it yet because they can't do it in high humidity, and then they got behind because of the rain. So we are trying to get them to pin down a date that they can do these 2 foam roofs. We did allow some money for the airport hangar. The insurance company did. I have requested a number of times the invoices, the receipts for those windows that were actually damaged by the hailstorm on that one side of the airport. And that's less previous broken windows that were already damaged. So once you get those receipts to me, then I will reimburse whoever paid for those windows just due to the hailstorm. So this is my last request. If I don't have that in 30 days or so, I'm going to assume that you don't want the money and we're going to leave it in the account.
Go ahead, Sam.
Wait a minute. Those receipts have been given to someone at the office, Monique,
Okay.
someone by Russell Noel. So
Okay.
I will call Russell Noel post haste when I leave here, but they have already been submitted months ago. Now, I don't know if they got lost in a paper shuffle or what, but you have received them. I don't know why you didn't get them. You individually need them, Sandy?
I do because of my...
I'll get Russell to bring them to you post haste.
Okay, that's fine. because I didn't know they had Monique. We've been searching for them actually. So if they were given to somebody up there, if they didn't get to me, and I'm the one doing this because I'm the retired adjuster. So, okay, you're welcome. Also, there's a supplement from the from Elite that part of it was already authorized by the adjusters for the hoist equipment to do the roof at the commissary. That's another $11,545. After that, we have $29,298 to still do some extra work around here, or that we just don't have time to do yet, or anything that's still outstanding that we don't know about. So hopefully we can finalize this so that we can find out whether we have funds just left over in the account that we can use for other purposes. But until that meeting with the broker, I'm not going to know that. Okay. Okay. Were there any questions? And you've got all my sheets in your packet, so after you review them, if you have any questions about what all those calculations are, please let me know and I will answer.
Right. Was somebody going to do the financial workshop, or is that mine? Okay. We had a workshop with Randy, more to let him know what kind of reports we wanted from him, and to find out from him what kind of reports he could give us. So it was not a very fun workshop to attend. We had a couple of members. The types of things that we were trying to go over, though, were not really member, what's a good word? Not really for, the members couldn't really help us a lot on those. So I think we're moving towards maybe having another financial workshop with him to get our financials together before we're ready to do another audit, which comes up in September. Any comments more on that? Okay, I'm the one that did the affect instead of the effect, so I apologize on that.
Do you want me to give the HOA law?
Yes, I had asked that, well, Dan actually brought it forward, that we see what the 2016-2017 legislative session has done to us, if anything.
Yeah, I can get through this fairly quickly. The 2017 legislature actually made no changes to Property Code 209, or otherwise known as the HOA law. They did, however, make several changes to other legislation that could have an indirect effect, although not very likely. First of all, the transportation code was changed that authorized off-road type vehicles that are used for mail and package delivery and that type of thing to be used and operated within our homeowners association. They also authorized them to have special license plates. But in addition to that, it authorized the homeowners associations to put forth special reasonable safety rules and regulations for the operations of those vehicles, but then they'd be able to operate within it. Seeing we get no mail delivery, there's not much that would involve us, but that could involve an HOA. Secondly, there was one to the Texas Water Code that actually will not affect us. It has to do with the sub-metering of water. In other words, if HOA gets all their water through one main meter and then dishes it out to their members and charges them, there's regulations. We don't do that, and if it was done, it would be a mud issue, not ours, so we have nothing there. The other thing involves the calling of a special meeting by a member. And sometimes there's confusion here because there's two sections of law that involve that. One is if the association fails to call a general membership meeting in a year, any member can call for that meeting to be held. And there's certain requirements and regulations, and that's always as it has been. But the law was changed to say that the demand for that hearing by the member can be made by registered mail or, and this is a new part, any other means established within our governing documents, within our declaration or bylaws. And that part is new. Just as a clarification, that's if only in the case of the association not calling a general membership meeting. So I hope that will not involve us, although 1 year here not long ago it did. The other type of meeting, a special meeting, can be called by the membership with a petition of 10% or more of the members, but that was not affected by any of the law. And that concludes the legislative update from 2017. I think if they've adjourned, we're now safe.
They have not adjourned, they're having their special session.
Oh, then we're not safe yet.
Nope. Okay, I'm keeping the RV park up in front of everybody, so just kind of give us an update on where we are.
Be happy to.
We have pictures.
Well, they're behind you. As a matter of fact, well, I'll show you later. Well, the pictures are just little shots of the crews outside the RV park making the improvements that we want to make. There's many more improvements to be made. However, the idea here, first of all, let me mention to you that this has been, according to Diana Stewart, that this has been probably the busiest summer that she can remember. She made that comment to me just the other day. She said, since I've been here, this has really been the busiest summer. So there's been a lot of activity out there. And I'm very happy that Russell Noel has been assisting me. You know that Russell is on the board of the Chamber of Commerce along with me, and he does a lot of promoting in different tourist spots in the state. He does a lot of promoting of Fort Clark Springs, and he comes back to me with ideas and concepts of how is it that we can promote the RV park, because we realize that in terms of marketing, the RV park is a significant draw. And so we want to make it shine. The RVers are simply a major target group, and so we need to reach out to them through our marketing, and so we're developing a plan to do exactly that. In the meantime, I very recently took Philip, Garcia, and Diana and Ryan on the golf cart, and we went into the park to look with fresh eyes at what is it that we need to do to make the place shine. And so we've sort of have a little plan whereby we're going to continue to spruce the place up and make improvements, and as I say, make the place shine. When we enter the budget process here very soon, I will be asking for monies to help us do the improvements that need to be made as best we can. And as money allows and as manpower allows, to be able to do the improvements there in the RV park. I think it looks very good now. There's always room for improvement.
New business. We're beginning an attempt to find a way to cover employee health benefits. In the next year, it's so unsettled, we don't really know what's going on. But we do have our health person coming today to talk to us in executive session. I just wanted the membership to know that we are not considering, not covering at least a part of the employee health benefits, as we have been doing for the last 4 years now? Okay. With that, it's 11:08 and we are going into executive session. Boy, I forgot I didn't want to do that today. Excuse me. It's 11:08 and we're going to let everybody yell at us for a while.
Item number 11. Item 11.
There are 11. That means you get about a minute apiece.
No, you misunderstood. I'm sorry. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
Item number 11.
It's in the hole.
That was on purpose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to do what you can in a minute. Now, keep in mind, the board will not typically respond to you. This is for you to get your things out so that we can take them under advisement. If you have something specific that needs board action, then I guess we'll take that as it comes. But Ken, you're up first.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. And in a minute or less, I'll try and make it very fast.
I know.
No problem at all. I understand your time is very valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Major Kenneth Knox, retired U.S. Air Force from Laughlin Air Force Base. I'm stationed there now as a GS worker. I wanted to present an opportunity for y'all as a membership issue. I'm working on a committee at Laughlin Air Force Base to try and recruit and retain our simulator instructors. We are critically manned right now. We have about 15 to 20 employees that we need just to sustain our operation right now. The Air Force is 1,500 pilots short right now. That means Laughlin Air Force Base is going to continually need new families, both military and civilian. And being a member since roughly late 2009, early 2010, and now a recreational member now that I live off the fort, I love the fort. It's an awesome place. We have some simulator instructors who live here. I want to try and help move my committee to find ways to bring people to this community because I think it's an excellent, excellent community. The thing that I'm concerned with, and the reason I wanted to address it is, as a member of the fort, I have had opportunities where we haven't had such good interaction with some of the staff in the fort. Most recently with my daughters down at the swimming pool. I've addressed it with Mr. Lawrence. We've talked about this. We're going to come up with a letter of understanding that he is going to bring to the board at some point in time, and that's not necessarily the focus of this meeting. But the fence brought up a really good point. The discussion here that the face of the fort is really its people. And the interaction that the membership and potential membership has with staff needs to be of the highest caliber. My wife and my daughters were down at the swimming pool, and they had an issue where a member of the staff came down and addressed them very loudly and vocally in front of members of the fort. And
Ken, that was recorded. Did you know that?
No, I did not. But that's excellent. Thank you very much.
We've listened to the recording, and the person in question was quite calm, and
Oh, that's
I know
perfect. So you're saying that the conversation with my wife was recorded without her knowledge or consent?
in Texas, that's legal.
Wow, that's amazing. I did not know that. Was that done as a matter of record or a matter for, what was the reason for that being done?
It's always done.
It's always done. Every conflict?
I encourage my employees to record altercations or difficult situations for this very reason.
So the videotaping of the children in the pool was also done as a directed action by someone?
That was not.
That was not. So I thought it was always done based on your guidance to your staff.
What you're referring to was that the lifeguards perceived that there was a violation, and they made record of that, yes.
Okay, but they taped minor children without the consent of their parents.
Once again, that's legal in Texas.
I would like to address it with a lawyer at some point to find that out, but that's fine. Long story short, here's what I'm trying to say, ma'am, and I'll get up because you have more people that you need more time.
I
believe
we're
that the interaction with your staff and the membership is a dramatic impact on the ability to bring more families to this board, which is something I'd like to be involved in doing. However, I have a very difficult time selling to all these people that I'm trying to bring to the fort. Come here, it is a good environment, this is a good thing, and then we have issues like this happen where there's interaction that is perceived on one hand by people who listen to a recording and perceived by members of the staff, of the membership who feel threatened and hostile. So all I'm trying to say is the staff interaction with the membership is an issue I'd like you all to address in some sort of fashion.
One of the ways that we are addressing it is to have the staff. We've even got body cams for some of them because we often are threatened by things that shouldn't be that threatening. But I know that in that particular instance, I hear both of you talking, and neither one of you is being hostile to the other, although I think you feel threatened. So it might be good to sit and listen to this
Was there a body cam video of that as well?
No, there was no
because
body cam.
The impression that my wife gave was that after that conversation happened, that there was an interaction with the member, the staff member, driving his vehicle towards her that felt, in her opinion, like she was being threatened with the vehicle. I would like the opportunity then, if my wife was recorded, to sit down and listen to that. Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It is not our staff.
Thank you.
It is not our staff intent to in any way harm or make it difficult for you to be here.
Yes, ma'am, and I agree. That may not
And
be your
here I
intent.
am.
That
Here
may not
I
be
am
your intent, but
interacting
that is
when I
what
said I
happened.
wouldn't.
No, that's
I apologize.
okay. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not addressing the board in a manner that is disrespectful. I agree with you, but the intent and the perception are different.
You are absolutely right. Sandy?
Hi, I'm Sandy Herman. My pet peeve has got to do with the recycle center. Part of it was discussed with Bill and Judy Winchell. There are people that are very nice. They bring in loads of bottles and cans and stuff in bags about yay high. But all the stuff is in there together. I'm the lucky person that has to go in and sort it all out to the different gaylords. If it's possible, could you all please just individually sort the stuff to bring up so it's easier? If you're not going to throw it in the bins so that we can throw it in the bins, thank you.
I think all of us who work in recycling say amen to that. Jan, did you have something? Thank you. Mary Frances?
Oh, gosh, I was at the bottom of the list, I thought.
No, there's lots of people.
Story of my life at the bottom of the list. I was got chosen last to go to baseball. I got nasty. Oh, and spelling bees.
There's a bunch of us like that.
I had I don't know how this works, and I'm maybe talking again to the wrong people. I had occasion, I was going up to the pool of the Independence Day celebration, and there was a young man knocking on the office door, and it was locked. So I stopped, and I said, they're closed, can I help you? He said, well, they told me at the front gate that my motel room was B26, and I can't find it. I said, well, and I said, just follow me. So we went around, and I showed him that Bovis Hall was B26. It wasn't rocket science, But I said, well, do you have a map? Do you know we have a restaurant? Do you know about the pool? No, they didn't give me a map. Well, how come? I'm thinking they gave everybody that comes in a map. Well, let me tell you, so I went through all that with him. He was darling. They were two guys, and they were in a really expensive truck. I got excited. Thought, oh, they're going to spend money. Anyway, I told them there was steak night, redfish at the restaurant. Oh, they were excited about that. So then I thought, well, so I circled down to the front gate, and I said, I just talked to these guys. Do you not have a map that you give them? No, we're not allowed to. What? I said, you're not allowed to? No, we're not allowed to because there's a visitor center, and the visitor center's open, and they're supposed to go to the visitor center. And I said, but how do they know there's a visitor center? Where are they going to park their truck while they go in the visitor center? This is 8 o'clock at night. And so I would like for us all to stop people when we see them that look apparently like they need some information, or maybe take a bus to take them on a little tour, which I know a lot of us do. I've taken many people on a tour when I see them that they're looking like they're interested in what's here. But I'd also like for there to be some thing that's better than just the visitor center that's never locked. It's just not very right. I just would like for somebody to think about that. Please.
Thank you. Does sound odd. I'm sure there's more to it, but we don't have time. Allison, are you still mobile?
I already said everything I had to say, except that I will say in 2010 when we came here, we came in through the RV park. So that's how a lot of us got here and then ended up buying and all of that. So front gate, RV park.
That's true. Sam, some more?
A very quick update on the airport to the board. We have a fully functional airport with two excellent, beautifully manicured runways. One is 3,000 feet running north and south, and one is 3,800 feet running southeast to northwest, compass heading 16. We have a beautiful hangar. It's not beautiful on the outside, but it's beautiful structurally. We have all new windows. The doors roll and work. The roof has been screwed down, and all the bullet holes in the roof have been epoxied. And so we now have a waterproof, windproof shelter for airplanes. So we are looking forward to getting water on the field and some sort of a restroom, because as people start coming, we're going to need water on the field and restrooms. So that's our next project, along with finishing the front doors. The front doors are rusted out on the bottom. Those are going to have to be structurally reinforced and new sheeting put on the doors. We then plan to paint the front of the building. And sometime in the sweet by and by, hopefully we'll be able to paint the roof of the airport hangar. So it will be in really nice shape. We are going to do our best to do some things to encourage people to come to the airport. Just like every other thing on this port, we need more participation. At the golf course, right now the swimming pool is probably doing well. I understand that business falls off in December and January. Yeah, the same way with this fort in the summertime, because it's so hot here. It's just a lot of people leave and don't come back until October or November. But we're making really good progress out there. As a point of interest, there are 20,000 airports in America. Only 5,000 of those, 1 in 4, is actually a public airport. And those airports are governed by FAA regulations. The other 15,000 airports have no regulation by the FAA. And so we fall under those majority of airports that are private airports. And we have the right and responsibility to set our own rules and chart our own course for the operation of our airport. And that's what the airport committee is going to do and bring it before you so that you will know what we need to do and to do it. So thank you for your time. I know I don't want to run over. Thank you.
No, but you said exactly what I was trying to hear. Thank you.
Thanks.
Did Mr. Guzman leave? I thought. Oh, there you are. Should have seen you standing up. I'm sorry.
Hello, Guillermo Guzman. I'm been an active member here at the board since 2005.
First name?
Guillermo.
Guillermo.
I know it's Guillermo, don't you go by Gus sometimes?
No, I go by Memo. I've been an active member here
Sorry.
since 2005. Since I've been here, my favorite part of the board is the pool. And I can't remember the last time that the little benches that we have there have either been, I know they haven't been replaced. I've been observing this over the years. I know they haven't been recently painted. Some parts are on one particular bench where people can sit down and eat or whatever, parts are broken. I know we're going to the route of possibly beautifying the front part of the fort. I'm not asking for total replacement. At the minimum, and I think this is a reasonable request, that they just get replaced with treated wood and some paint.
Let me respond to you very quickly. Probably by the end of August, 1st of September, you will see significant improvement. This is going to be an Eagle Scout project.
Okay, that's what I wondered about. The second thing is, thank you very much. The second thing is, I usually go to the pool at night when it's cooler and the sun is not as hard on myself and my children. There's a lot of underage children there that are not supervised. Now, that's not your all responsibility in the sense that why aren't the parents there watching their underage kids swimming or participating? I've seen on numerous occasions kids jumping off the lifeguard thing. I've seen kids jump off of where the water drains out.
If you would call security.
I've called security twice. And they've come out.
Okay.
I think that the lifeguards leave at 8. Idea, maybe somebody from security could be there from 8 to 9, then close the gate. I'm just telling, there's something going to happen if it hasn't already happened. Well, I don't think it's happened yet. Last thing, I didn't know about the fencing. I think it's an okay idea. I think you're correct. Let's get the cost first before you take down the fence. I would go as one step further, purchase all the items, all the everything that's going to go up new, and then tear down the fence. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Memo. I have trouble with Spanish R's and L's, I'm sorry. Please don't do that to me. I get confused. Woody, are you there?
Yes, I am. Right here.
You, as members of the board, act collectively on decisions as a board. And you took an oath in office to represent each member. But that isn't the main thing. The main thing is, and a member of your board has made a complaint. In fact, maybe the board has made a complaint. There is a trailer and a red pickup blocking a pathway that you received a letter from the sheriff saying he's used it twice as an emergency. And I know you have tried in numerous ways, well, almost a year now, to get it removed. And I think Dan has made effort, but yet that member has more authority, evidently, than the whole board. And I thought the buck stopped with the board. So that's all I have to say. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
We do, thank you. Anyone else that didn't get their name down? Speak or forever hold your peace. Okay. Our 15 minutes went a little long, but thank you. It's 11:28.
There will be a recap on Monday morning.
Just keep interrupting.
I'm sorry. I didn't want you to drop that hammer.
Did you understand there's a recap on Monday morning at 10 o'clock in the boardroom if you feel like you didn't get enough board meetings? Okay?
Will it be donuts?
No.
We only give donuts to the board if they show up. Okay, thank you. 11:29.
After we got a chance to review it.
It's 1:55. I'm calling the meeting back to order after an extensive executive session. During that session, we discussed health insurance for the employees, both prices and options. We discussed some cafe concerns. We discussed the horse club contract and several member issues. It doesn't sound like we did that much, but believe me, we did. The next regular meeting is August 19th.
Yes.
If no one has any objections, the meeting is adjourned at what time? 1:56. I think that